Let's transform this Mercury Cougar by Leslie Matchbox using Createx Branded paints. We're going to use this drill and tap set by Bright Vision. So first of all, we'll grab our drill and we'll remove the rivets from the base of the car. We'll take the base off it now, and then we'll take the interior out of it. And the last thing, we'll pop the windscreens out and we're ready to start working. We're going to do an old to new here, or rags to riches. We're going to use our precision file set now from Hobby Zone. We're going to file down the top of the post. After a 564 pilot hole, we're now tapping it with a 256. So let's mask off the front of the car using 3M automotive green masking tape in the masking section on the website. And then we're going to use paint stripper to remove the whole back section. Createx 4008 Restorer removed all the paint strip, all the gunk and residue, and left the casting nice and clean, ready for our next move. So after the wire wheel's taken off the worst of it, we're going to use 400 grit wet and dry, up to 1200 grit to sand the casting nice and smooth. And then because castings are kind of rough the way they come out from the factory, we're going to use the Hobby Zone precision file set, and we're going to get that all cleaned up, ready for the next step. So the wheels are shot, so with a Dremel we're going to use a cut-off wheel. We're going to remove the pins, and these pins are really quite heavy, and we're going to put a custom set of wheels on this baby. We're going to cut some round hollow 1/16 aluminium tube. That'll be our axle holder for our new wheels. Time to test fit our wheels with the axles before we glue them down with CA glue, just like the old dragway rims. Word of advice, make sure you test fit it to the body before you glue it all down. There's many ways to skin a cat when it comes to cleaning the base of this car or the under tray. We're going to use Sally's Barbecue Tough and a toothbrush and give it a good scrub up first, and then we're going to come back with the Meguiar's plastics and we're going to buff it out, and it's going to come up like new. All the following products are on the website in the masking section. We're going to use V-tape first. The V-tape is a low adhesive, so we can put that over the front of our casting when we don't want paint to creep underneath the old paint. We're then going to come back and we're going to put auto mask over the top of that area because it also is a low adhesive tape, and we're going to bridge the two tapes with a 3M green masking tape, ready for paint. So for this paint representation, we're going to use paints by Createx Colors. Every paint on our website is made by Createx Colors, whether it be Autoborn Sealer or Wicked Colors or Illustration Colors. They are all Createx Colors branded paints. So we're going to use Autoborn Sealer in the transparent, which is a clear, and that is an undercoat, and we're going to thin that out with 4011 reducer around about 10%, and we're using a Neo TRN 2.5mm airbrush. Now we could have used a 4021 if that was available. The new reducer does allow the paint to flow much better. So why did I choose transparent? It's because it's got no pigment, which means it's going to be a lower film build against the tape line when we apply it, but I could have used any of the Autoborn Sealer colours as the undercoat. We're going to apply 2 medium coats of this product, and we're going to dry it between coats. Now to keep moving quickly, we're going to use a hair dryer with a cool button. The cool button allows the heat source to be knocked out for it nice and cool, so it dries the paint hard. If you use straight heat and if it's too hot, you can turn the paint into a latex film and you can actually peel that off. So use cool air always to dry your paint. Is the best way to make it nice and hard and tough. We're going to gently feed the Autoborn Sealer transparent into the door jambs as well, and all the door panels. Our choice of colour is Wicked Colors Pearl Orange, and as with all pearls and any metallics, anything that's a flake will settle to the bottom because the flakes are heavier than the base and they're in. It's just the way automotive paints are. So we use a 4S Scientific shaker here to mix it all up, ready to go. Let's mix our colour ready for use for an airbrush. So we're going to take our Wicked Colors Pearl Orange and we're going to add as much of the volume as we think we require, and then we're going to add around about 10% of the 4011 reducer. Now at the time, if 4021 reducer was available, I would have used that, and then we're going to mix it up and we're going to let it sit 5 to 10 minutes so it can all get used to each other and it will work at its best for you. Now as far as what is Wicked Colors, well, Wicked Colors is a water-based base coat of automotive grade pigment. time to apply some paint. So we've got our mini spray booth here going, and that's on the website. First coat will be a guide coat, nice and light, so we can just introduce it to the surface. We're using a TRN2 here, which is a 0.5mm, and it's a Neo airbrush. Great for this kind of work, covers everything nice and easy. After the first coat is down, we will then come back with our hairdryer with the cool button, and we'll dry that off so it gets nice and hard, ready for the second coat. And now you can see us applying the second coat, and it's nice and bright and vibrant. And we can put this one down medium wet, and that'll give us a nice strong colour representation ready for a clear coat. Want your windows to look like new again? It's really quite easy. Grab a sanding pad. The ultrafine on the website works very well, or somewhere around about 1200 grit wet and dry. And then apply a couple of coats of UVLS 4050 gloss, and that'll bring your windows up like brand new. Mercury Cougar being a left-hand drive American car, we're going to put a mirror on the driver's side, and that's a 3D printed resin piece that I've created, and we're just going to put Wicked Colours opaque black straight direct to it, nothing else required. We're now up to the tail lights and the front bumper bar, so we're going to tape off the surrounds to keep the paint to where we want it to go. We're using V-tape, which is on the website. It won't pull the paint off, I've prepped it correctly. And we're going to then come back and we're going to put Wicked Colours gloss black down first of all. We're going to use a paintbrush for that because it's a small area, and then we're going to use Wicked Silver. So this is Quicksilver, and it'll be a chrome-like effect, and that'll give us a nice base ready for our candy. So on the back tail lights, we're going to use Candy Blood Red, and we're going to come back with a Q-tip with a little bit of the 4011 reducer in it, and we're going to wipe the fins off just a little bit to give it a realistic effect, and that'll be very much like the real car. The interior is going to be airbrushed with Autoborn Sealer Black, and then we're going to come back and hand paint the seat, and that's going to be with Wicked Colours Metallic Charcoal, and that'll come up a treat. The final stages. So because we put some Candy 2O down, we don't want that to bleed into our clear coat, so we're going to put a couple of coats of 4040 bleed checker down first. That'll lock everything down in place, and then we're going to mix our UVLS high gloss, and that'll be mixed with the new 4021 reducer that's just come in. And then we're going to apply our clear coat with our TRN2, and we're going to put a medium coat down, and then a couple of final wet coats, and it will come up looking absolutely smick.
Perfect.
So we just finished painting some Candy Dirt Trap Brown, and I'm finished now for the day and what I'm going to do, and this is how I go about cleaning up an airbrush. So first of all, bucket of water, put your finger over the end of the nozzle cap and pull back. You get a certain amount come out, but as you can see, we're still dirty. And this is how I get an airbrush. I've never had to replace a nozzle, only a needle if I've dropped it. So I use a little bit of Restorer. It's a 488 Restorer. And I'll get in there, give it a bit of a wash around with my finger. I've got a nitrile glove, so that keeps me nice and clean. And there again, be gentle when you do this. You don't want this everywhere. And we will back flush slightly. And then we'll spray it out. Now at this stage, I will pull the needle back just slightly, a couple of millimeters, and do the chucking nut back up. You can give it a better clean if you put your finger over the top, and you can pull back harder because it's only going under your finger then. And then give it a tip out. Give it a spray. And we're only cleaning the outside now. Now, when I think I've got it absolutely clean, I then use some of the reducer. So the 4001 reducer, we whack some of that in, give it a spray out, and back flush with that. When you back flush, you'll notice you get colour. If you get colour, that means you've still got material in your paint cup or in the chamber. So we're pretty clean now. We're just about ready for another use. So now what I'll do is I'll pull the needle out. You see the needle's gunky, and this is where I finish it off. I'll take some big wipes, just one, and we'll give the needle a clean with big wipes, because that gets everything off nice and clean. As you can see, that is nice and shiny, ready to go again. And we'll do the airbrush too. So we've still got some candy on the outside. Okay, wipes it straight off. Get the inside of the cup clean, the outside, and why there's no needle in there, we'll get it into the cap, and we'll give that a clean too. My airbrush now is clean, ready to go for another use. I won't have any trouble with it sticking, and I won't have any trouble with it not spraying correctly. I always put the needle in, and then I pull the needle back slightly so it doesn't stick to the end of the nozzle, and next time I come around I will then know to put the needle back in, ready to go. So last thing, my hands, they're fairly dirty. This is the paint systems. This is some Sealer Black. This is also some candy it's got on my hands. And clean up everything that you've touched if you wish. If you've got it on your bench, give that a clean. It'll get off everything that is on a non-porous surface. And we're ready to go again for our next use.